Today we are going to take a look at the new bike from NordicTrack. This is the S27i. So it has a very similar frame to the S22i. You're probably familiar with that one, but they've added a lovely 27-inch screen. So we're going to take a look at some of the things that are similar and some of the updates on this new bike. So the overall frame on the S27i is very similar to the S22i. I think there's maybe a few minor modifications that they've made, but in general, the bike frame is pretty similar. It's not too large, so the frame itself is only 57 inches long. It's about 28 inches wide and 65 inches high to the top of the monitor. Now, a few things to be aware of. There is an incline and decline on it, but even at the 20% incline, it's not going to add too much height. So this is a great option for people who might have a little bit of a limited space because it does take less room and is obviously quieter than something like a treadmill or a rower, something like that. The bike itself weighs about 220 pounds, so it is just a little bit heavier, but that makes it feel very stable and it provides good structural support to counterbalance the weight of that screen. So on the S27i, you have 3 adjustment points, which basically is 3 different areas where you can adjust the fit on the bike. So the seat will move up and down and it will also slide forward and back. The handlebars will also move up and down, and there is a hydraulic assist mechanism within the handlebars so that when you raise them, because you're also adjusting the height of the screen, it compensates for the weight of the screen. Similar to the S22i, this has a very heavy flywheel with a fluid motion so that it gets that inertia going, which allows for a smooth pedal stroke. You can stand up, sit down, move around on the bike. It also has silent magnetic resistance. So you've got magnets on either side of that flywheel, and as you increase the resistance, the magnets come closer to the flywheel, but they don't actually touch the flywheel. It's just the magnetic polarity resists the rotation of the flywheel to create more difficulty. But because you don't have like a friction pad or anything like that, it doesn't generate any noise. So it is silent whether you're riding in level 1 resistance or level 24 resistance. It isn't going to make any bit of a difference. The incline decline motor, I think they've improved that. When we were first testing out the S15i, S22i, the incline decline motor was kind of a new thing. And I think that it is a little faster and it is a little quieter. And the one thing that I love about the S27i and the other bikes is that it does have AutoAdjust, which means that as you're riding and following along on an outdoor ride, the bike will automatically incline and decline to match the terrain. Now you can override it and use manual controls if you want to, but I love the fact that it just creates a very integrative experience. It really feels like you're out on the trail. The stabilizer beam under the center of the bike is very nice because it increases the structural integrity of the bike frame itself. So when you're on it, it feels very stable. Even if you've got those handlebars up high or you're a taller rider, the bike frame itself does not shift as you ride. A new thing that they've added to the 27i, which I also appreciate, is hybrid pedals. So if you are an outdoor cyclist, a mountain biker, or perhaps you like to take indoor spin classes, most of your serious riders are going to use cycling shoes because it just gives you more power through that pedal stroke. So as you can see right here, you have SPD clips on the underside of that pedal. So you can clip in a mountain biking shoe or a spin shoe. And then you also have just standard flat pedals on the top, so you can ride it with any athletic shoe, which is a nice option. Your serious riders who already have cycling shoes can clip in if they want, and somebody that just wants to hop on with a regular athletic shoe can ride it as well, and it's not uncomfortable. The pedals, you've got a belt drive in here, so you don't really see it. I do like how the drive cover protects the belt drive because it eliminates dust and debris and other things from getting in that belt drive. But because you've got a belt in there rather than a chain, it's much quieter. And you also have 27 resistance levels. So the resistance levels are calibrated so that each time when you hit that resistance level, it's the same amount of resistance, which makes it easier to kind of target how hard you want to work in any specific workout rather than just guessing with like a friction resistance knob. You've got those preset digital levels. A few things that they have upgraded on this bike, they moved the weights here. So on the S22i, the weights were in front, which was convenient when you were grabbing the weights, but unless you're using weights most of the time, it's actually preferable, at least for me, to have them tucked back behind. That way you can reach them if you need to, but they're not right in your face the whole time you're riding. And I absolutely love the new tray that they've included here at the front, because you can just put your phone down there and you've got plenty of room. It has a nice little ledge and even a little bit of a slip resistant surface. You've got an arrow curve there on the handles, and then of course upright grips. NordicTrack covers the S27i with a pretty standard warranty. You've got a 10-year coverage on the frame with 2 years for parts and 1 year for labor. All right, so let's take a close look at the console. So it's really the most impressive part of the bike because it just makes everything else feel intuitive as far as, you know, controlling the bike, choosing your program, different things like that. So one thing that I love that NordicTrack does is they have embedded most of the functionality for their fitness equipment within the touchscreen, which eliminates clutter and different things on your console or in your cockpit. So it keeps it nice and clean and open, but you still have the ability to navigate as needed. So there's a few key things that I really like that they've done. You have your manual controls for incline, decline on the left and for resistance on the right. Now, because they're right there on the handlebars, you don't have to sit up or move forward to reach the screen. Now, I'm standing kind of close to the screen now so that you can see, but when you're sitting back, it's much easier to be able to just manually adjust with your thumbs than to have to lean forward and tap the screen. So that's one thing I really like. So when you first load any program, it'll bring up the last few things that you've done so that it kind of recommends maybe something similar to what you've just previously ridden or something like that. So actually the other day I listened to a TED Talk, which is why this is coming up, and kind of gives you a weekly overview of your milestones and your total time and distance ridden. And then it'll jump down to featured now. So these could be things that maybe correlate with other rides that you've enjoyed, or they could be new updated programs that iFit has just released. So you'll see those. News and notifications are down here, including like series and challenges. So they'll take their instructors all over the world and do several different videos on location. So John Peel has been in Hawaii for the last little bit, so we're seeing a lot of Hawaii, different cycling series and some other options like on your treadmill or whatever. So we've got his Hawaii beginner cycle series, and then different challenges, you know, you can even create your own that you want to. And then down here, it will bring up some things that are in your ability level. So if you're a new beginning rider, then it's going to bring up a lot of beginning rides for you. If you're an advanced rider, then it'll bring up other options kind of compatible with what you've been doing. Recommended workouts are ones that get really good star reviews. Users really like them, so they'll bring up theirs. And then series are a group, you know, of different workouts. Maybe they're categorized by intensity level, maybe they're categorized by trainer, maybe they're categorized by location. So different series. Down here, they do offer live workouts. So I'll show you in just a second. You can go to those live workouts, but right here, it's just, they'll list when and where it is. So this is Monday, 6 a.m., Monday, 7 a.m. So you can go through and kind of reserve a spot for those if you want to, and then you've got it on your calendar. And then down under here, if you want to browse by category. So that's just a quick overview of your main page when you get to iFit. The library icons are down below. So right now this is at home. If you want to go to calendar, it's going to bring up some of the rides that you've done and maybe some things that you have coming up in the future. And then just like on the treadmills, there is a Google Maps option on the bike. And this is one thing that I absolutely love that iFit does, is you can literally go anywhere in the world and create your own route and ride that route. And then while you're riding it, the bike will incline and decline to match the natural terrain of whatever route you've mapped out. So that is in Google. You just go down here to create and it brings up Google Maps. So right now we're in Cape Town, South Africa. So, you know, you can scroll out and find different areas, or you can just type in any location throughout the world. Yes, and I want to exit. So browse takes you back to the main library, but it's going to provide all of your options as opposed to the main screen, which just kind of highlights those that may be most pertinent to you. So this is the full library database, all your different options. You can choose by time, location, trainer, you know, whether you're new to iFit, you can even, like I mentioned, you can go in and do like a TED Talk. So lots of different options there as far as programming. And then one thing that I love that iFit has done that I haven't seen on really any other subscription model for a bike is the different options as far as rides. So they have a whole gravel ride series. So you can do gravel, you can do mountain bike, you can do road bikes, you can do studio classes, and just the different options are really fun. So down here, if you go to the live, it's gonna, like I showed you earlier, kind of bring up those different live classes that are coming up, and you can schedule those if you want to. And it will just kind of give you an overview of the trainer and the intensity and distance and stuff like that. So we got some coming up, but they're not showing there. So, and then finally, your last icon on the bottom is just challenges. So let's say you want to set a challenge for yourself. These are different workouts that you've completed, current ongoing challenges, and these change. So when you've completed one, they'll load new ones, which just kind of makes it fun. And as I mentioned, navigating the user interface is really intuitive and makes sense to me. So another thing that I love that iFit's done is you do have a fan down here. Now, most bikes don't have a fan on them, and so it just provides enough airflow that while you're riding, it's directed right at you, and you do have different, so even though I'm not even writing a program, you can turn the fan on. You got low, medium, high, and then your last option is auto, which is going to basically correlate with how hard you're working. So because I'm not writing right now, the fan doesn't turn on for that auto section. But then the other thing I can do is, let's say I want to load a workout. So let me show you real quick. Let's do one that looks fun. So we're gonna go to this trail ride right here. So right here, this is your preload screen. And down here, if you want to connect a Bluetooth headphones, or if you want to connect a chest strap, you can do that right there. And then it just kind of gives you a countdown to when you're starting. You can see your metric bar is up here at the top. And so it provides a lot of different options as far as that metric display. And then it's going to give you a visual overview of the length of the ride and kind of the terrain that you're going to go on. So just a quick map overview. So the videography in iFit is very, very crisp. I'm really impressed with it. It feels very professional. Your instructor almost always provides an overview of the ride at the beginning, so you kind of know where you are and what type of ride it is and what to expect as far as terrain and difficulty. And then it'll jump right in with, you know, some nice landscape shots and other things to kind of give you an idea of just the overall terrain of the ride. So if I want to turn the fan on right down here, I can adjust that at any point during the ride, and it will maintain at that level until I either turn it on or off or adjust it again. You also have the option of adjusting your volume. So, and this is something that iFit's done for a while that I really like, and that is you can adjust your trainer volume, and I can keep my music volume all the way down, okay?
Here we go.
So now I'm just hearing the trainer. I don't have to be distracted with the music if I don't want it.
3-minute warm up. Get comfortable on the bike here. Got a little bit of a descent to start with, which is nice.
And you can kind of hear these new speakers. They've been upgraded, so they're really quite good as far as providing
a little bit today.
Just the right amount of volume. So a lot of really intuitive design to the overall cockpit and the console on the S27i. So right here, I'm just going to play around a little bit with the incline and decline so you can kind of see how that works, play with adjustment, or play with the resistance levels so you can kind of see how that works. And then I'll ride both seated and standing so you can see the different positions. So right here, I'm at a flat road. I'm going to incline just a little bit. You can see you can do it one at a time. Now, if I pull my controls down on my screen right there, it's going to tell me where my incline is, which is really nice. So I can manually adjust it. When you manually adjust it, it increases by 0.5. So it'll go from like a level flat road to 1.5 and then 2 and then 2.5. So those are your adjustment levels there. The resistance will just adjust you by a whole metric. So if you're I was at level 7 and then I jumped to level 8 and then back down. So one full metric on the resistance and it takes you up half a level on the incline, which really gives you a lot of customization options. Now, as I increase that incline, it is going to raise the top of that screen just a little bit, but it never feels unstable. So even if I'm going to take it all the way up just so you can see, let's get all the way up. Normally it's faster than this, but because I'm doing it manually, it's a little slower, okay? So that makes it hard. It really feels like I'm riding uphill. Because the whole bike frame moves, it's just like I was really pedaling up an incline, and it just kind of creates a very realistic experience as far as your ride. So I can also adjust the resistance while I'm inclined and declined. They're not necessarily correlated, but you can drop it back down. It gets a little easier. So let me take you back to a flat road, and then I'm going to take it all the way down. So there's your flat road, back to just kind of a normal road. Let's take it all the way down to a 10% decline. So you can see going from all the way inclined to all the way declined, you've got a significant range there as far as different options. And it really does now feel like I'm riding downhill, just like I would be if I were outdoors. But see, I can ride downhill and still increase the resistance if I want to. So you do have those different customization options. And then I'm gonna take it back up. So once again, just kind of finding that flat road. So the motor I feel like has improved. Not that it was ever bad before, it's just a little quieter and it's also a little smoother. So they've improved that incline and decline motor. And then the resistance here, let me take it all the way up. Okay, so that's level 24. If I come up out of the saddle, it's a little bit easier. So I would say the max resistance on this is moderate. It's not as high as some of the other bikes that I've used, but the fact that it's silent is a definite benefit. And if I increase the resistance and increase the incline, then it's gonna make it just a little more challenging as well. So let's try that. So what they've done, because you're on an incline on a bike, it doesn't actually make it any more difficult when you're riding inside. So they add just a little bit of resistance when you increase the incline to match how it would feel if you were riding outside. So if I increase that incline all the way, it's gonna add a touch more resistance with each level. There we go. Now I'm working hard. So that max resistance really is pretty high when you've got both the incline and the resistance at maximum capacity. A few things that I love about the bike. I love the AutoAdjust. I love some of the features that they've added. They now have closed captioning, so I can turn the volume all the way down, listen to the music on my headphones, but still see cues from the instructor on the screen. So I really like that. I love the wide database of options that you have to ride indoors, outdoors, all that. There are a few things that are limiting as far as riding in different positions. So if I come down here and want to ride in a more relaxed position, rest my arms on the front of those, handlebars or whatever, I'm pretty close to the screen. Now you can't adjust the distance of the screen from the handlebars. That is a fixed distance. So when I come down here, looking up at the screen, it's a little bit of requires me to crook my neck just a little. So I would say that's something to be just aware of, is you can't adjust the distance between the screen and the bike itself. The other thing you'll notice is, depending on how you're riding, there is just a touch of screen wobble. Now it isn't because the screen isn't securely attached, it's simply because the screen is extended away from the bike frame just enough, and the weight of it just creates a little bit of movement when you ride. However, you can control to a certain degree how much screen wobble there is. So if I ride right here and I shift my body weight side to side and I'm all over the place, it's gonna cause that screen to move. The same thing if I stand up and I really shift my hips from side to side and I'm pushing down, mashing hard on those pedals, well, you're gonna have more screen wobble. If I ride like I'm supposed to ride, where I'm in control of the bike and it's not in control of me, if I keep my weight in my hips and my heels so that I'm light on those handlebars and I'm not locking out my wrists, I can ride standing up. I've got good control and there's much less screen wobble. So when you're riding, don't shift your body weight side to side. That's not good riding form anyway. And it is going to exacerbate that movement in the screen. And the same with when you're seated. Even if your resistance is up high, just kind of keep the weight in your hips and your heels. Think of yourself as an engine moving those pedals, and try not to put all of that pressure forward on the handlebars and the screen. So hopefully that gives you an overview on the new S27i bike, just kind of some of the features, the things that we love about it. It certainly is a fun bike to ride and provides a very integrative experience. You're just really going to feel like you're riding outside the whole time. So we are impressed with a lot of the updates that NordicTrack has made, and it just provides a great option for riders at all ability levels. They recently released 3 different color options on this bike, which we haven't seen before, so that's kind of cool. This is the matte black. You also have a gray option and a white option. The white and the lighter gray include a leather seat and leather handlebars, so just a little bit more of a chic look, less workout equipment, industrial, but they all function the same and provide the same ride experience. I love the SPD hybrid pedals. For me, that is a game changer because I can clip in when I want to, but then somebody else that wants to ride doesn't have to worry about that. And as always, the incline decline feature and the automated adjust within iFit makes it a very just smooth ride as you're going along. You don't have to manually control everything. The bike will do it for you. And I like the Bluetooth interaction. You know, you got your heart rate on there. You can plug in your headphones, so you can kind of customize it how you like. If you would like more information on this bike, check out our written review at treadmillreviewguru.com. We've got a little more details, specs, and pictures on there. Our goal here at Treadmill Review Guru is to provide you updated content on fitness equipment so that you can make informed buying decisions. So if you like this video, if you like our content, make sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. We sure appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, again, we love to hear from you. My name's Kristen with Treadmill Review Guru, and we'll see you again soon.